I am 37 and my wife is 36. We have three young children, a 7-year-old son and two daughters, 5 and 3. We have known each other for 16 years since college. We became platonic friends back in college, but she was in a relationship back then. 3 years after she graduated college, she came to me for some consulting work, and I later helped her to start her own business, including assisting on financing. We became close, and she broke up with her ex-boyfriend. Then we started dating. She ended her relationship before we started dating, so she wasn't having an affair with me. Over the years, after we got married, we had a family friend that was married but was planning on leaving her husband. They shared 2 kids, and she was having an affair with another man. Let's call her Kate. Kate and I have known each other for a while, longer than my wife, but we weren't friends. I introduced her to my wife, and they hit it off. They started getting closer 2 years ago when Kate began having an affair behind her husband's back. And now, they're both best friends. During the period Kate was committing an affair, she would tell my wife about it. She would give her play-by-play updates, like a soap opera. They would spend hours discussing it and getting all excited like schoolgirls. It was almost like an adventure or some kind of scavenger hunt to them. Really depressing for me to observe. My wife never talked about it with me. In fact, she tried to hide it from me and refused to tell me what they are talking about when I asked her about it. However, I heard bits and pieces of it while she was on the phone. It is hard not to overhear them talking on the phone about it. Kate's affair wasn't just about a quick fling. She was trying to leave her husband because she was now in love with the affair partner. She continued on with her marriage because she wanted to be properly compensated when she finally divorced him. So she was getting her ducks on a row. I didn't hear much, but from the little I heard, they were having an affair on her husband's dime, and I felt bad for him. It was really uncomfortable for me how they were laughing and having fun over trying to break up a family with little afterthoughts of the husbands and the kids. Kate and her affair partner were having excess at the hotel and in their family home when her husband was not around. Sometimes when he travels, she would invite him to her matrimonial home, even while their young kids were under the same roof. I was really upset about this. I felt like I should do something. Although I knew her and she's close with my wife, I don't like her. I merely tolerate her because of my wife, and we weren't really close enough to talk about such matters. Additionally, I couldn't expose her openly. Why? I figured she would be angry at my wife because she would think that she told me about it. Moreover, I had proven that she's a bad influence on my wife, and she might put some bad ideas in her head. And that was exactly what happened. My failure to cut ties with her would come back to haunt me. I have met her husband on several occasions, and we have been invited to their anniversaries and their children's birthday before. He's a nice guy. He made good money in real estate. A stand-up guy, really kind and meek. So I couldn't figure out why she would want to leave a guy like that. Especially when I found out that the affair partner she was cheating with was lower on the socio-economic ladder. From the conversation I heard, she was waiting for the right moment to use the children to financially wrangle him in a favorable divorce settlement and some child support so she could live happily with her affair partner on her husband's dime. I couldn't just sit there and watch this happen to this man. In my state, the law is skewed towards the victim of infidelity in a divorce settlement. I was going to do something about it, but without anyone's knowledge, I decided to send an anonymous letter to her husband, informing him about his wife's affair. After I sent him the anonymous letter, informing him that his wife was inviting her affair partner to his home when he travels, the betrayed husband was able to stage a sting operation to catch his wife red-handed. He pretended that he went on a trip, then returned back in the middle of the night and busted her in his bed with another man. The affair partner was lucky to escape with his life because the betrayed husband had a gun with him, but didn't use it. Needless to say, the betrayed husband got the better of her during the divorce settlement. In my state, divorce is usually 50-50, unless infidelity is involved. Then the percentage is skewed towards the faithful party. Of course, she was upset about this and cried to my wife about how selfish and greedy her ex-husband was, and how he wanted her to be a slave and didn't want to pay her what she deserved, etc., etc. It was a nasty divorce, but the husband came out on top. We sort of cut ties with her ex-husband after the divorce because my wife was more of a friend to her than her ex-husband. But at this point, I didn't enjoy hanging out with her, but my wife does. I didn't bother to tell my wife what I thought about her best friend. I just thought my wife enjoyed the drama and liked talking on the phone, so I didn't see any harm in it. Fast forward about a year ago, Kate was now divorced. Her affair partner was now her boyfriend. Through some financial wrangling from her ex-husband, they were able to buy a house, and over the years, we became friends with them. Me and my wife would go to a couple's date with them, and they became friends with us. Over the past year, I have gradually become more depressed and unhappy, and that coincided with when my wife became close with Kate. But it has gotten worse this 9 months of hanging out with them as a couple. I believe this was down to small changes in my wife's behavior towards me. I have a history of depression, but it hadn't gotten bad enough for me to feel like I needed to speak to someone or be on medication. I felt like Kate was driving a wedge between me and my wife because what little time I have to spend with my wife, she would be on the phone with Kate. She used to answer her phone in my presence, but then she started being secretive with her phone, running off to the garage or to the backyard to answer her phone. She would schedule couples date nights with Kate and her boyfriend, and also picnic with the two families when she knew that I couldn't make it. She started becoming more distant at home, playing shows on the television that she knows I couldn't bear to watch to put me off when I joined her in the living room to spend some time with her. She would sit with me for 5 minutes, then leave to go to bed. It happened several times, and it started affecting me more and more. The small changes were nothing when taken individually and creeped in slowly, but over time accumulated and started to make me feel isolated, lonely, and unloved. This lowered my mood over a period of 6 months to the point that I really felt like it may be time for therapy. I reached a breaking point a month ago when my wife told me that we would join Kate, her boyfriend, and her kids on a Friday evening for a games night at their house. I felt excited because I thought maybe my wife has come to realize that she hasn't been including me in many of her activities and has realized that she had been moving away from me. Little did I know that the only reason I was invited was because it was mandatory couples night. The plan was to drive to Kate's house, where they hired a babysitter for their kids, and the babysitter would watch our kids as well, so we could go out to a couples event that was hosted by one of my wife's clients that would later turn out to be her affair partner. It was a casual event at a restaurant. The restaurant was nice. It was lavish, and all meals paid for. We sat at a 4-seat table, one couple facing the other. My wife spoke with Kate extensively, and Kate spoke with her boyfriend as well. They were all having fun, and never at any moment did any of them turn to talk to me. I felt isolated. I felt like I was intentionally being sidelined from the conversation. I felt ignored. I tried to join in, and it was awkward. Their responses were short, not rude, like the air got sucked out of the conversation, like I just interrupted their fun. After the restaurant, it was a quiet ride to Kate's house to pick up our kids. My wife wanted us to stay at their house for some games, but I told her that we needed to leave because I wasn't feeling well, and I said that in front of Kate and her boyfriend. On our ride home, my wife started blaming me for ruining the night. She made me feel like I was the biggest meathead, obnoxious and friendless, a lost cause with no hope that others merely tolerate because of my financial success and because I was married to her. When I responded to my wife that I felt like I was being ignored and everyone was feeling awkward towards me, she said that I had been the one that was acting awkward with everyone. She said that Kate asked her why I was being so quiet. Kate apparently told my wife that I was acting strange and moody and was inquiring if they had done anything to annoy me. I was so low at the moment that I internalized that comment to the point that I broke down when I was alone. I felt like I was perceiving a different reality than everyone else, and my mindset was altering my perception of the external world, creating things that are unreal, and feeling like my wife is distant, and distorting every action she takes as a negative reflection towards me. However, to me, it was clear as day that my wife is being distant from me. We haven't had intercourse in 3 weeks, and she had been rejecting intimacy with me for months now, using one excuse or another. After our last daughter was conceived 2 years ago, we decided that we have had enough children. So I had a vasectomy to prevent my wife from getting pregnant again because it wasn't recommended that my wife be on birth control due to all the side effect that comes with it. After our conversation that night, my wife refused to spend time with me. She went and stayed with the kids till I fell asleep. Then she came back to bed. She wouldn't allow me to touch her, and it went from bad to worse over time. She was deliberately avoiding intimacy with me. Then one day, my wife called me and told me that she was going to be home late. So I decided to take my kids out to get some fresh air and take in the sun. I took my son and 2 daughters to the park for a walk. I was pushing my 2 daughters on their twin baby stroller while my son was beside me. My wife was still at work at that time. She normally takes them out on their strollers. I remember looking for a baby pacifier on my kid's diaper bag. I know my wife normally keeps them there. She uses the bag when she is out with my youngest daughter. I was searching through the bag. Then I saw something that I didn't know what it was. I would later find out that it was my wife's Plan B, or morning after pill. I didn't immediately know what it was. I thought it was something that had to do with the kids because it was obviously in the diaper bag. It says on the plastic container, Plan B 1 step. Out of curiosity, I took a closer look at it and I read the instruction to understand what it was. After reading it, I understood what it was. So I was wondering, what was it doing in the baby's diaper bag? Or why would my wife be in possession of a Plan B? I thought maybe our babysitter left it there, which would be strange because the babysitter was an old woman. Why would an old woman need Plan B? Additionally, the babysitter rarely used that bag and never take the kids for a walk. So many thoughts were running through my mind at the time. So I left the Plan B pack back in the bag, thinking that I would confront my wife when she returns home. When I returned back home after taking the kids for a walk, I didn't remember to remove the Plan B pill out of the bag. The following day, in the evening, I remembered about the pill and went searching for it in the bag, and it was gone. That was really upsetting because I started doubting myself. Maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. I can't tell what is real. Was the morning after pill I found real? What happened to it? Why was it there? It doesn't make any sense for it to be there. There are no viable explanation for it to be there. Was I mentally ill and being delusional? Could I accidentally take my own life thinking something else? I was thinking that I was a danger to myself and my family. My panic escalated and I became completely incapable of forming coherent sentence. I didn't bring up the pill with my wife since it might show evidence of my further mental demise if she denies it, which she would have. The pill was a turning point because the memory was so vivid that it couldn't have been a dream. I tried to justify it by saying that she was holding it for someone she knew couldn't or wouldn't buy it. Maybe doing a friend a favor or helping them. I know that's a stretch, but I had to find a way to sleep at night. The following week, it bothered me so much that I tried to indirectly bring it up in a conversation by saying that excess was more fun when I knew she was going to get pregnant. She responded that it wouldn't be for her because she doesn't want to have another child. I replied that she could just take a morning after pill. Then she said that she would need to be going to a pharmacist every day to buy one and be on birth control every day. I jokingly replied that I thought she was already on one, and she gave me a strange look, wondering why I was bringing this up, since we talked about this years ago and decided that me having a vasectomy was the best option. I responded by saying what? I asked her directly, when was the last time she took a morning after pill or a birth control? She was confused by the question because she assumed that I already know the answer to that question. She then said that she hadn't seen a morning after pill or birth control for years and wouldn't even know what it looks like. Confused at this point with my mind racing, I asked her whether she had taken a morning after pill recently, and she said no, saying that the last time she took it was when she was in the university. As you could imagine, this did nothing to improve my mental health. I went to a massage parlor the following day after work to calm myself down and remove tension from my muscles and try to take my mind off the thought that I might be going crazy. It took a bit, but I was able to regain my composure. After 2 weeks of going to therapy, working out, and getting some massage to relax my muscles. I felt like my chemicals were within balance, and it was clear to me that my wife was committing an affair. There were so many dots that I could connect in my mind. The only reason why she was in possession of a morning after pill was because she was having unprotected excess with somebody else. And she recently started answering her phone calls away from me even when Kate calls her, something she wasn't doing before. Knowing how Kate was and how she was speaking with my wife during her affair years ago, I figure my wife is doing the same thing to me as well. This might all be crazy talk, but the only way I could find out was to get hold of her phone and find a way to listen to that conversation. Since I didn't know how to gain access to her phone call, I decided to purchase 4 voice-activated recorder. I installed one in her car, another in my car because she normally drives my car as well, and I installed one in the living room and another one in my backyard where she runs off to answer her calls. It took only 2 days to find a treasure trove of evidence that she was having an affair, and sure enough, Kate was in the middle of it. She knew all about it and encouraged her to continue the affair and find her happiness. After the discovery, instead of feeling sad and more depressed, I felt relieved. I was back to normal. Never felt better mentally in the past 9 months. What I heard on the voice-activated recorder confirmed everything that I had suspected and felt. It showed me the lies I had been told and the extent of which Kate and wayward wife had gone to construct the situation that allowed my wayward wife to meet with her affair partner. It shows them complaining about me and laughing about the affair, just like they laughed about Kate's ex-husband when she was having an affair with her current boyfriend. Kate encouraged her as they were wallowing in the excitement of it all. Kate would say things like, "I don't blame you, sister," and I remember how exciting, scary, and fun it was when I was having a secret affair. After a week of listening to their conversation, it appears that it's been going on for months. There wasn't any time in the conversation where Kate told my wayward wife that she shouldn't do anything and instead talk to me or work out our issues. Kate really became more involved on few occasions and enabled my wayward wife and her affair partner to meet in private. The affair partner had a girlfriend, and they talked about how she has to be very careful so as not to be caught like her husband caught her. On one occasion, my wayward wife, Kate, and her boyfriend arranged a trip to a park near the affair partner's business so that my kids and Kate's kids could have a day out. This was one of those times that I couldn't make it. They planned a day that I would be busy with work and wouldn't notice. Kate and her boyfriend took care of the kids while my wayward wife and her affair partner met. With certainty, I knew she was having an affair while Kate and her boyfriend watched the kid for her. The affair partner is in the same line of work as my wife and will sometimes serve as a mentor to her. When I initially started being interested in my wife, I invested heavily in her business and started it from her, and over the years added more financially when the business falls in troubled times. The affair partner was the same guy that invited us to the restaurant with Kate and her boyfriend, where I felt like I was intentionally being ignored. Even though it would have been completely normal for her to have met up with affair partner because of their business relationship, the fact that she admitted on the voice-activated recorder that they had excess is plenty of proof enough. She mentioned that it happens both in his office and hotels, and that was 2 weeks of audio recording. So I assumed the affair has been going on for much longer. There have been several, and Kate knows, almost like she was cheering my wayward wife on. I had audio evidence of everything. I was under the impression that I was losing my mind suspecting her, but it turns out that my intuition was correct. I have never hated being right about anything like I hate being right about this. When I confirmed the affair, it was like a weight was lifted, and instead of feeling paranoid, maniac, and out of control, I felt calm. I still have low moments, but they pass in maybe a couple of minutes. I am sure there is worse to come, but for now, I am using this to get me through the rest of the week. The divorce split for assets in my state would be 50-50, and the child custody will be determined based on the best outcome for the kids. I am hoping it will be 70-20 or 70-30 split. In my case, if I could provide proof of infidelity, I am not sure whether the voice-activated recorder alone is strong enough evidence. The research I have done so far says that it comes down to catching them on the act. And I quote, "Woman kissing or engaging in other acts of affection." I'm not sure what other acts of affection is defined as, whether recorded calls between her and her affair partner counts as such. But I need to consult a lawyer to get some clarity. I will be patient and play it close to my chest to see if I can collect more evidence so I will have a stronger case. Regardless of a beneficial split, I will still be taking a hit because even though she has her own business, her income pales in comparison to mine. I have always been the breadwinner. She spent most of her income on herself, while mine is used to pay all the bills, including mortgage, for the past 12 years. I helped her set up her new business, supported her, and tried to give her and our kids the best life I could. But she turned on me and started cheating on me. I have a meeting with my new therapist today, and I read a bunch of articles, and they have helped me gain some perspective, though I have barely eaten for the past few weeks since discovery and slept maybe a total of 15 hours. I have told a couple of friends of mine, and they act as support network. I am going to add more, but want to keep the footprint small for now, as my wayward wife have no idea I know. None of the friends I told are mutual friends, so it's easier to control the message. Moreover, I needed people to speak to besides my therapist, because it is tough acting normal around my wife, knowing that she's carrying on an ongoing affair. My plan tomorrow involves removing the kids from the house for a few days, then begin the confrontation in the evening. What shocked me most was the devious deception. Even when I clearly heard her talking with the other man about how he made her feel and how she loves him, she was still telling me she's happy, saying she loves me and wants me to be happy. And she thought that my depression may be flaring up. Last night, I saw her leave the bedroom to answer her phone in the backyard. After about 45 minutes away, she came back and kissed me goodnight, like we always do. Then this evening, I listened to the voice-activated recorder, and she was telling her affair partner how fun it was to have intimacy with him and how boring I was. It was like a stab in the back. She clearly thinks that I'm some sort of cock, and it gives her excitement to see me suffer. In due time, I also plan to expose the affair partner. He has a girlfriend, and I am sure she would like to know about his cheating ways. If everything goes as planned, I will be asking wayward wife to call her and explain. Otherwise, she will be getting a call from me. I want her to not have to deal with her cheating boyfriend as much as I don't. Update: it's been 2 weeks since I have been recording my wife with Kate and her affair partner on the voice-activated recorder. Interesting conversation yesterday. When I was upstairs sleeping, she came downstairs late at night to talk to her affair partner on the phone. I heard her on the recording speaking with the affair partner and was trying to initiate a meetup with him, but he was too busy. Then she told him that, and I quote, "I am unbelievably horny, and if you don't meet me tomorrow, I'm going on tender." She said that while I was laying in bed upstairs, and she sneaked out to set a sex date with another man on the phone. Like I'm not even a viable or worthy person for excess. This goes to show that reconciliation is not possible for me to consider, because even when she feels horny and her affair partner is not available, she would rather be on tender than be intimate with her husband upstairs. To make matters worse, she followed through on it by going on tender to look for men. How did I find out? In another interaction with Kate a few days later, I heard on the recording that she registered on Tinder, a dating site, and she met up with some guy on there. It sounded like it was something she was trying out to get some attention, or to get her affair partner jealous. And according to what they were saying, it sounded like Kate met her current boyfriend there. So not only is my wife having an affair with the other man, she's also having an affair on Tinder. I took all the evidence to my lawyer for some legal counsel, and he feels like I needed stronger evidence of them being affectionate, especially one that shows them holding hands or kissing. On the recording, you can only hear my wife, and based on her conversation, I could tell who she was communicating with. Well, that's not enough because there's room for denying. The voice-activated recorder barely falls under the umbrella of affectionate because it will sound to an unbiased listener as a one-sided conversation, but with additional evidence of kissing or holding hands or something of that nature would create a stronger case against her. The lawyer gave me the contact of a private investigator that has experience with things like this, and he is trusted by the court and has testified on the stand before. And he wanted me to contact him so he can get some pictures of them together. The downside of the voice-activated recorder is that it takes up to 24 hours for me to get a chance to listen to their conversation. It would have been great if I could get something in real time so I can react to their meetup location. When I got home from the lawyer's office, I called the private investigator. He requested everything from my wayward wife photos to her daily schedule and her license plate number. Additionally, I told him everything I knew about her affair partner. It was really challenging to not confront my wife at the time and act normal around her while she continued an active physical affair with her affair partner. It was difficult to stay calm, to smile, and act normal when you knew your wife had just come back from downing another man's Johnson. I continue to see therapy, have a close group of friends that I speak with. Going to the gym and getting frequent massage helps keep me calm. My plan for confrontation is to, number one, I will explain she has ruined our marriage, destroy all trust, and etc. Number two, I can't imagine her ever voluntarily offering to cut Kate out. But if she offers to go no contact with a fair partner, I may suggest that is not enough and that all enablers must go and see if she gets it. There is so much to think about and so much unpredictability. 3. I would tell her to call the girlfriend of the affair partner and confess to her about the affair. I know she would most likely refuse, but I would try. Update. It's been 3 weeks since the private investigator started following my wife, and he has captured my wife visiting the affair partner's shop once. I suppose the affair happens at his shop. Not sure if that's strong enough evidence because he's one of her clients and would be considered normal for her to visit his shop to meet him. However, the private investigator did his best without going into the shop. Not sure how long I can go on pretending like this. It's not good for my mental state to act normal around her. I may have to take a chance by confronting her if the private investigator doesn't find anything by the 5th day. Update. Great news, sort of. I have been waiting on the private investigator to make progress, besides capturing her going to his store. I have been doing some reconnaissance work by listening to the audio more frequently so I can get an update on planned meetup and whatnot as to inform the private investigator ahead of time. Slow progress so far till the 7th day. Thursday night she was watching TV with me as the kids were playing. It is becoming easier to have a normal conversation with her because I've gotten used to pretending. The phone rang and she went to answer it outside as normal. She joined me back on the couch minutes later and I asked her who that was and she said it was Kate checking up on her. I wasn't sure whether she was lying. So when she went to bed, I went to the backyard and listened to the voice-activated recorder. I found out that the person she was speaking with was with the affair partner and not with Kate. They talked about meeting up on Friday. They didn't mention time and location. I returned the voice-activated recorder, then went back to bed to sleep next to her. The following morning, before she went to work, she told me that she would be having lunch with some friends and she didn't get a chance to inform the babysitter yesterday, and she was asking if I could babysit the kids and tuck them to bed because she didn't know what time she would be coming home. I agreed, and she said she loves me before she left the house. That was my cue to know that she was meeting up with the affair partner after work that day. I informed the private investigator to be on her tail. I was thinking that 3 weeks since affair discovery, I now have a chance to capture some conclusive evidence of the affair so I can close this show. I was treating her with the same deceit and gaslighting that she has treated me over these past months, saying that she loves me while she was having an affair behind my back. That Friday, the private investigator captured what he considered was enough to use as proof of infidelity. It was her and her affair partner going to a restaurant after work. I was supposed to be babysitting the kids at home while she goes on a romantic date with him. They came on separate cars. At first, everything looked innocent. They weren't holding hands when they were heading to the restaurant. Looked like a professional meetup. But everything changed after they were done at the restaurant. The private investigator recorded them heading towards the garage to leave with their cars. When they were in the garage and felt like nobody was watching them, they kissed, mouth to mouth. Lasted for about 5 seconds under the dim lights of the high-rise garage. You can still make them out. That was strong enough proof to show that they were having an affair, and the private investigator captured everything. Met up with the private investigator on Sunday evening to confirm what I already knew, and he gave me some legal paperwork to sign. Total professional. After the meeting with the private investigator, I have the proof I need to make sure I come on top on the divorce settlement. I will confront her on Monday. I have begun informing more people in preparation for tomorrow, and I'm preparing those people to tell others. So I have fewer calls to make once this all kicks off. Wife's home, gotta go put on my happy face on. That morning, wayward wife was in a hurry to go to her shop. She woke up about 6 a.m. and at 7:30 a.m. she was leaving the house. Why I get the kids ready for school and daycare. We already planned this ahead of time because she normally gets the kids ready for school, but today was an exception. After getting the kids ready, I made them breakfast while I got myself ready for work. After I was done, they were ready for school, so I dropped them off at school. During the afternoon, my wayward wife dropped by at work so we can drive together. I stopped by a fast food place because she already had her lunch. Then we met up with the real estate agent to view the property. We have been trying to move for months. I wasn't interested in buying the house because I knew this marriage is already over, but I put on a happy dad's face. During the evening, I picked up my children from school, took them home and changed their uniform. I got their things ready for them to go to my parents' house because they were expecting them. I want to shield my kids from whatever outcome the confrontation tonight would have. Earlier in the day, I tried contacting the affair partner's girlfriend by phone, but she wasn't picking up. So I left a message saying that I need to speak to her. It's incredibly time sensitive. I told her to call me back ASAP. When my wayward wife returned home, she asked me where the kids were, and I told her that I took them to my parents because my parents wanted to see them. She thought that was strange because they normally go there on the weekend, and tomorrow is a school day. But I told her that my parents would take them to school tomorrow. I have already told my parents about my wife's affair, and they were devastated and offered to help me in any way they could. I went to meet up some friends, had a couple of drinks, and felt energized. And when I came back home, my wayward wife was taking a nap. I activated my phone recorder for both video and set up a backup voice-activated recorder and hid it in the living room. Then made 2 cups of tea and sat it on the living room table. I woke her up. She asked me what I wanted, and I told her that I needed to speak to her in the living room. The stage is set. It took her about 5 minutes to arrive in the living room, but I already sat down, waiting for her. I had the camera turned on my phone, and the voice-activated recorder was on as well. As soon as she sat down, I stared at her for a few seconds as she wonders why I was staring at her. I asked her if she loves me. She said yes, of course. I asked her if she loves our marriage. She said it's the best thing I have ever done, and I'm so happy. I asked her if she loved the home that we lived in and what we have built for our family. And she said yes, we have done beyond our expectation, and she loves everything we have. Visibly irritated, she asked me where I was going with all these questions. She was sitting on the sofa with me, so I moved closer to her and asked her to tell me about her affair partner. I mentioned him by name. She asked me what about him, that I already knew who he was. He was the guy she's done some work for and occasionally texts for advice. I repeated the question one more time, adding that I want to know the specifics of their relationship. And she just kept saying either he's an advisor and has helped me learn the business, and I don't know what you want me to say. This was the most frustrating part, going around in circles. I could see it was going nowhere, so I asked her when she last saw him. Bear in mind, the private investigator already captured her on camera, meeting him at his shop twice last week. Plus, she went to dinner dates with him and kissed him in the parking lot on Friday. And she speaks with him almost every day on the phone. She said she had last seen him 2 months ago at the restaurant she invited us to, which he attended with his girlfriend. I asked her if she was sure. She said yes. Then I asked her, what about on Friday? And she said, oh yeah, I saw him briefly then. Mind you, they had dinner at a restaurant and made out in the garage. Then went on, circles of lies and trickled truthing. It took 2.5 hours of me asking specific questions and referring to an excerpt of the evidence that I had created in order to spot her lies before I managed to get some semblance of coherent answers from her. It includes the fact that they had met up and had excess. She had been exchanging pictures and flirting, and that Kate has been enabling her and covering for her. It's astonishing to see how delusional someone can be. Even when I told her I knew the truth, she lied. I've never seen this before. Throughout the confrontation, I was cool and collective and didn't lose patience because I was already a few steps ahead of her. I asked her rhetorical questions that I already know the answers to and set traps for her to lie about. And when she lied, I corrected her with known facts. I deflected any blame shifting as she tried to minimize the situation that they only had excess twice. I explained to her how long I have known, even though I found out about a month ago. I convinced her that I have known longer than I actually did, and I have been collecting evidence against her. I told her that I know everything, and every time she was with him. She was shocked when I told her that. She didn't ask me about my source, and I didn't show her any evidence. But I told her that she has been exposed, and some people know and have been telling me about it. I wanted to install a sense of paranoia in her and make her feel like she was the crazy one. She tried to minimize events by limiting the severity of their relationship. Like she would say, "We met up," instead of saying, "We had excess." Then I would question her about what she meant by meet up. Then she would say, "We slept together." Then I would say, "You mean like sleeping in the same bed? What do you mean by sleep in the same bed? What kind of business partners sleep in the same bed? I don't understand." I questioned her to force the point where she provided graphic details and I was recording everything for my divorce case. She started crying so I would have sympathy for her, but quickly stopped because she saw that I wasn't fazed by it. I had pen and paper, writing things down and confirming details like it was a police interrogation. We got to a point where she was afraid to lie to me about the details on dates and venues that I didn't already know because she thought I knew about previous meetups. I even convinced her that Kate had been feeding me information all along. So during the confrontation/interrogation, she thought Kate betrayed her. Since she was under the impression that Kate betrayed her and knew that Kate knew everything, she wasn't holding back on the information she was providing. I brought out a sheet of paper that I had ready, and I had written down the details of her affair. She was visibly shaking while writing her confession down in front of me. I bet she didn't expect the day to end like this. She didn't think she would be caught. My wife was writing down her confession. Then my phone rang. I was worried about picking it up because I had been recording my wife's confession on my phone. The number appeared to be the girlfriend of my wife's affair partner. In a split second, I was conflicted of whether to answer the phone or to continue recording. I thought now that I have my wife in such a vulnerable position, the icing on the cake would be to get her to admit on the phone to the girlfriend of our affair partner that she had been having an affair with her boyfriend. Moreover, I still have the voice-activated recorder as backup. So I made a fateful decision to answer the phone. I picked up the phone in front of my wife as she was sobbing and writing her confession. I told affair partner's girlfriend that my wife have a very important message to tell her. My wife looked even more frightened when she realized who I was speaking with. I'd lied to my wife, telling her that she knows everything, but I wanted her to admit it in front of affair partner's girlfriend. The voice-activated recorder was in the living room, so it recorded the rest of the conversation that was cut short because I picked up my phone. The affair partner's girlfriend seemed confused at first, and I told her that I have her on speaker with my wife, as if we have spoken about it before, so I could fool my wife to think that the girlfriend was in on it as well. Here's how everything played out. Me, hello, like we discussed before. I have been monitoring my wife for months, and I found out that she has been having a physical affair with your boyfriend. My wife is now here. She's ready to confess that she was having an affair with your boyfriend. Affair partner's girlfriend. Okay, is this a joke? Me, no, it's not a joke. I have all the evidence. I turn to my wife and ask her, me, how long has this affair with the affair partner been going on? My wayward wife hesitated, and I told her to answer the question. Wayward wife, it's been going on for 9 months. Me, how many times did you meet him for X in a week? Wayward wife, oh, about 2 times. Affair partner's girlfriend, oh my God, I knew it. Affair partner's girlfriend then kept silence when I interjected with another question addressing my wife. Me, you mentioned that you mostly did it at his shop and hotels. Is that correct? Wayward wife, yes. Me, who initiated it? Wayward wife, he did. Me, at any point, did you consider stopping? Did you thought about the fact that you're married and he's in a relationship? Wayward wife, I tried to stop because I was feeling guilty, but he wanted to continue. My wayward wife's answer was short, and I knew she was lying when she said that she wanted to stop. As she wanted to stop, she wouldn't be soliciting meetups with affair partner or threaten to look for other guys on Tinder to get him jealous. But my goal was not to correct her lies, but to confirm the affair with the affair partner's girlfriend. That way, I would ruin the relationship of the affair partner. The affair partner's girlfriend was silent on the phone, maybe because she was shocked by the confession. I took her off the speakerphone and told her that I have more evidence of the affair in case she needed proof. I left her with a message that I was sorry that she had to hear about it this way, but I felt like she needed to know the truth about the man she's in a relationship with. I knew they were planning on getting married and recently had a big purchase, and I was glad that I can put a wrench on that. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Please go to the description below for part 2 if you're interested, and make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you and have a wonderful day.